Welcome back to Stateside Homicide.
We're your hosts, Emily Pham
and Catherine Wee.
And today we're joined with our guest, forensic expert Esther Rowe,
and LAPD robbery homicide detective Adriti Verma. Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for joining us. I first wanted to define homicide as the killing of one human being by another, regardless of intent or legality, as according to the Oxford Dictionary. So, Adriti, we wanted to know more about the different types of homicides to get more insight of what goes on within investigations.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on. So the main types of homicide cases I solve include first-degree murders, which are also called premeditated murders. And that's where the perpetrator had been planning out their murder and made a full plan of what they were going to do. And another type of homicide I deal with is called second-degree murders, which are also classified as homicides of intent, where the perpetrator intended to kill someone even if they didn't plan it beforehand. So it might have been a spontaneous moment where someone really wanted to kill a person. And the last type of homicide would be manslaughter, where there was no intent or premeditation, but the perpetrator did kill someone, most of the time by accident, like in a drunk driving car accident.
Thank you for that. That makes a lot of sense. Now, Esther, how does biotechnology connect to homicide and its investigation process?
Well, in order to identify potential suspects and the actual victim of the crime, biological samples must be collected. This can include blood, skin, and potentially other bodily fluids found depending on the scene.
I wanted to say that according to the California State Portal, 2024 data shows a rate of 4.3 homicides per 100,000 residents. So what are your thoughts on this?
As per recent news, cities in California are reporting relatively lower homicide rates, with no official reports being released so far for 2026. However, there have been multiple reports of murders in the Bay Area up north.
Which, if you saw our previous episode of ours, which used to be the territory of the Zodiac Killer, so go watch that if you haven't seen that already.
Yes, there have also been some homicides recently in the city of Oakland, California. Otherwise, it's been relatively quiet on the Western Front, so knock on wood, let's hope that keeps up.
Looking at a more recent event, we wanted to discuss the current case of Celeste Rivas murder and get a fleshed out response to what it's like investigating this case.
According to Fox News, the crime is characterized as a high-profile murder case of a 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, having authorities to discover her dismembered remains in a Tesla belonging to the singer known as David. This case is currently unsolved and we're working through the process of investigating it. Authorities were called to the scene of a tow yard where one of the employees noticed a foul odor coming from the front trunk of the car. Celeste was last seen April of 2024 when a security camera on her block caught her walking down the street in a dark sweatshirt and gray sweatpants, but her remains were found all the way in September of 2025.
Hernandez was identified by various forensic evidence techniques, including dental x-rays which they retrieved from the corpse, as well as faint remnants of a tattoo on her forefinger. She also matched the other descriptors including her height, weight, hair color, and texture, as well as the clothes she was last seen wearing.
At this moment, we heard that David is the central target of Los Angeles grand jury investigation and homicide.
Yes, that part of the case has taken social media by storm, especially given that he is a prominent public figure. And her remains were found in the trunk of an abandoned Tesla, which was actually registered to the artist David.
Additionally, Celeste was seen in many of David's online streams, and reportedly her tattoo was matching one of his. Internet sleuths have also discovered that the singer had several unreleased songs suspected to be about her.
We have found evidence including Hernandez's remains being found severely decomposed, as her head and torso was found in one cadaver bag, while her arms and legs were found in a second bag underneath it.
The body was at least partially dismembered, but not fully decapitated.
Oh, poor girl.
So the brutality of this crime will definitely seek a heavy sentence.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope this case will be solved as soon as possible.
Thank you all for tuning in into another episode of
Stateside Homicide.
Swedish boy over face.